Hey everyone, Steph here, and today I'm here with a video on eye makeup theory, more specifically how to figure out what sort of style or shape to use when you're deciding how to do your eye makeup for a certain cosplay character. So I've gotten this question in relation, I believe, to a lot of the makeup videos that I do for a lot of different characters, and I don't really have a wide variety of makeup for characters, so because of it, it's forced me to be really creative with the way that I apply my makeup because there's no variation in my tool set as much. And I know that there's a fair amount of videos out there where people will be attempting to replicate anime eyes onto their own faces. But for me personally, because it's the style that I like to examine how a character looks and sort of translate how their eyes would be interpreted in real life. I'm going to be explaining sort of the theory and the process of how I am able to decide how to tackle my eye makeup in this video. So there's pretty much two things to take into consideration when you are examining a character whose eye makeup you kind of want to try out. The first is going to be, of course, how the eyes actually look, and the second is going to be their personality. The first one is a little bit obvious. Of course, you're going to look and see what the eyes actually look like, but the important takeaway here isn't that we want to exactly replicate how the eyes look and just put it on our face. I think it's better to instead examine any defining traits or features that the eyes might have. Again, this is specifically about eye makeup, so context is a separate thing, but there are some characters out there like Ochako Uraraka or Tsuyu Asui from Boku no Hero Academia that have very specific looking eyes. For example, Tsuyu has these very specific bottom eyelashes and very large eyes, and Ochako has very round eyes. So these are traits that I would take into consideration when it comes to doing their cosplay makeup. Or for example, there's Blake Belladonna from RWBY. If you look very carefully at her face, you might notice that she has some light blue eyeshadow as well. All of these are things that I would take into consideration when I'm doing cosplay makeup for those characters. The second one is that I would consider personality, and this is where a lot of where the theory comes in, I think. Depending on the character, if they're more mature, I typically go for more of a cat's eye look or a more narrow sort of eye look. So for example, Merlin from Seven Deadly Sins or Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII, because they're a little more mature characters, I tend to do what you can see here that I'm wearing right now, more of like a cat's eye look or something a little bit narrower, or like I mentioned before, Blake Belladonna, her character has sort of a cat's eye aesthetic going on. So with that, I would definitely put some eyeliner on the inside corner of my eye to give myself more of a cat's eye look to emulate that sort of aesthetic. On the flip side, if the character's a little bit younger, like I mentioned before, Ochako or Tsuyu, and they have very round eyes, I wouldn't do a cat's eye at all. Instead, I would extend my eyeliner a little bit further to make my eyes a little bit rounder and longer. And then if I'm doing my bottom eyelashes, I tend to draw them further away from my lash line to give the sort of illusion that my eyes are a little bit bigger. And this is the point where some people would also add a little bit of white eyeliner underneath the eye, because then it gives the illusion that your eyes are a little bit bigger. And this is something that I would not do for characters that have narrower eyes. Above all else though, I think the most important thing is to experiment and practice with your own eyes and see what sort of results you can achieve by attempting different types of makeup techniques. There is no one way to put on eyeliner, and everyone's eyes are shaped differently. So if you're trying to aim for these sort of looks, those are my general guidelines, and hopefully they can sort of translate to your eye shape. The number one thing is just seeing what different methods of application can translate well onto your face to achieve the sort of aesthetic that you're looking for. Hopefully this theory makes sense and hopefully helps you out in figuring out how you're going to be doing your own cosplay makeup. I know that I talked a lot about girls in this video because I only cosplay girls, but I feel like this theory also applies very equally to male characters. So even for cosplayers that are cosplaying a guy, I feel like the theory still stands. Narrower eye makeup for a more mature, serious character, or rounder, more eye-opening makeup for younger looking boys or kids. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. That's all I got. Hopefully this helps some of you in figuring out how you're doing your eye makeup. Number one thing is just going out there and experimenting. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and give my video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.